Hello, friends. Good morning to all. So, today I have a special guest with me, and his name is Tim, and he is from Australia. So, let's welcome Tim. Yeah,
Hello,
Tim.
everyone. Hi. Hi,
Yeah, hi,
Mazen.
how are you? How
Good,
are
thanks.
you?
How are you?
Okay, so nice to see you again after a
Thank
long
you.
time.
Yeah, it
Okay,
has.
okay.
Um,
So, here's Tim. So, Tim, please introduce yourself so
okay.
the viewers watching this video can know about you.
Okay. Hi, everyone. I'm Tim. Um, I am an English teacher. I've been teaching since 2013.
Mhm.
I teach English to migrants, so people who have recently come to Australia. And I'm learning some Tamil at the moment with Mazer, and I did also learn some Hindi 1 or 2 years ago with him also. So,
Okay,
and
okay.
everything's going very well.
So, and I would like to mention that I'm very happy, okay, to teach you Hindi
Thank you.
as well as Tamil. Okay, I think you all are very interested and you are very keen, okay, in learning
Yes,
these languages.
indeed. Yes, thank
Okay,
you. Yeah.
okay. So today, I would like to request you, okay, to share your knowledge, okay, about prepositions, but especially I'd like to ask you about three prepositions, so which are
Okay.
like in, on, and at. Okay, so the
Okay.
reason for asking this question is because I understand that many people, so especially many of my students, okay, so they have so many doubts or they have so many questions, and sometimes they
Mm,
get confused, okay,
mm,
while choosing between these prepositions. Okay,
mm,
so it would be great if you can, okay,
mm.
put some
Okay.
light, okay, on these prepositions for the
Yes.
sake of my viewers.
Okay. No problem.
Okay.
Um. Okay. So we'll start with in.
Uh-huh.
Um. In you often use to talk about when something is inside of something. So, for example, it might be a building, like
Mhm.
in a shopping center, in a shop, in a bank, in a factory.
Mhm.
Okay, so like inside of a building.
Okay.
Um, Also, when talking about places like a city, like in Sydney, in
Mhm.
Chennai, in New
Mhm.
York,
Mhm.
or a suburb. Okay. So in Australia, for example, a very famous suburb in Australia is called Parramatta.
Mhm.
So you could say, I live in the suburb of Parramatta. I live in Parramatta.
Mhm.
Um, we also talk about, we use in for to say in a river or in the ocean or in a swimming pool. Okay.
Mhm.
Also for north, south, east, west. So
Okay, for the directions, right? Mm.
directions, yeah.
Mhm.
So, um, Sydney, oh no, Darwin is in the north of Australia. Okay. So
Okay. Okay.
or in the south.
Or maybe the sun rises in the east.
Yeah, that's right. The sun rises in the east. Okay.
Okay. Mhm.
Um, yeah. So I guess that's some examples of in.
Mhm.
Um, Now, at um, is usually you're talking about a place. Like you might say, I am at the bus stop.
Mhm.
I am at the traffic lights. I'm in my car at the traffic lights.
Okay. So in
At
my
the
car,
moment,
right? So it is in my car.
in my car,
Mm.
but
Mm.
I'm in my car, but I'm at the traffic light. At the
Okay.
traffic
Okay.
lights, so
Okay.
I'm.
Mm.
It's a red light, and I'm sitting in my
Mm.
car. I am
Mm.
at the traffic lights.
Okay. It is like a point of place.
Yes, that's
It
right.
is maybe a specific point.
And you have to be careful with at sometimes. Usually with at, you're not moving. So
Hmm.
some students get confused. So for example, with a verb like go or come, you're moving. So
Yes.
often
Yes.
you don't use at, but you say to.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
going to the bank.
Yeah.
But if you arrived at the bank and you're just standing at the bank, you say I'm at.
Okay. So it is not I am in the bank.
Okay.
So this is
It
the confusion.
depends.
Or yeah.
It depends.
Mm.
If if you want the person to understand exactly that you're inside the building, you say in.
Okay.
But if I'm talking to a friend on the telephone, and my friend says, "Oh, where are you?" and I say, "Oh, I'm at the bank."
Mm. Okay.
Um,
So you may be also inside the bank, right? When you say I am at the bank,
that's
so
right.
it does
I
not
might be
it does not
inside
mean
the
that
bank.
you are standing outside.
Yeah, I'm not in that particular example. I'm
Mm.
not giving focus to the fact that I'm inside the building. I
Okay.
just want my friend to know the place where I am.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
yeah, but maybe I'm talking to my friend on the telephone, and he's looking for me,
Okay. Okay.
and
Good.
I'm inside the bank, and maybe he's
Okay.
out the front of the bank, and I'll
Yeah.
say, "Oh, I'm in the bank,"
Okay. Because
because
he's standing outside. Huh?
yeah,
He's standing outside. Okay.
yeah. So I'm trying to give extra emphasis or extra
Emphasis.
focus on the fact I'm in the bank.
Mm.
Yeah. Does that
Okay.
make sense?
Yeah, yeah, I think it makes sense. It makes
Yeah.
sense. Okay, because actually I think there is also another example, like for example,
Yep.
in a meeting and at a meeting.
Um. Yeah. Okay. So usually we say in a meeting. Okay. So your friend calls you and you say, "Oh, sorry, I'm busy. I'm in a meeting."
Mhm.
Um. At a meeting, we wouldn't usually say at a meeting. I don't think.
Because I have read somewhere. Okay,
Mm,
so I think the difference between in a meeting and at a meeting, because I may be wrong. So, for example, if you are actively participating in the meeting, okay, so maybe if you are talking, okay, or if you're okay, then you can say you're in a meeting, okay.
yeah.
But if you're just like an audience, or if you're just like a participant where you don't have any contribution, okay, you're just like participating in the meeting, but you're not actively maybe sharing your thoughts, okay, then you can say like it is like at the meeting. Does it make
Um.
sense?
Well, yeah. I understand what you mean. I don't know. Sometimes there might be some slight differences also between countries, like Australian English, English,
Mhm.
American English. Um,
Okay.
but like I have many meetings at work, and even if I'm just sitting in the meeting, I still say I'm in a meeting.
Okay.
But yeah, I might think more about that, and I can
So maybe
maybe
it is not so common to say
yeah,
at.
not so common. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So, but yeah, that's interesting, isn't it? So many little things to discuss. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Um. So going back to at, you also, talking about um, like spatial, like say you have a computer screen or a piece of paper or something, and you say at the top of the paper or at the bottom.
Okay, at the top. Okay.
Yeah.
And if it is middle,
In the middle. Yeah, in the
in the
middle.
middle. Okay, so
So
we don't
at the
say at.
top, at the bottom. But you say, you might say on the right or on the left. Yeah, so on
Oh,
the right of the page
mhm.
or on the left of the
Okay,
page.
so when we are talking about the directions like east, west, north, south, then we use in, right?
Um, Yeah.
But when we are talking about,
that's right. But if you say the top or the bottom, then you say at. Yeah, at the top or at the bottom. Yeah.
mhm.
Also, with beginning and end, at the beginning, like at the beginning of the lesson, or at the beginning of the class, or at the end of the class, or at the end of the lesson, for example.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there is no. So is there no like in the end?
You can say in the end, but it's a different meaning. If you say in the end, you mean like eventually, after some time.
Okay.
So for
So
example,
that is like the final end, or
well, for example, let's say, for example, I say, oh, I studied and studied and studied for this test, but in the end, I failed the test. Yeah, so like, it's a little bit different. You're saying like there was a period of time that something was happening, and then like in the end of that time, something happened.
okay. So for example, if we are talking about if we are talking about a movie, okay, I think movie is a good example. Okay, so for example, so we say in the end of the movie or maybe at the end of the movie. So when we are talking about the climax.
Okay. Yeah, for a movie, you usually say at the beginning of the movie or at the end of the movie. In the same way you say at the beginning of a class or at the end of a class. But I guess in the end is more, I guess when you're talking about the result of some actions that you took, perhaps. So,
Is it like finally when we say in the end, is it like finally?
It's similar to finally. Yeah, similar. So for example, another example, I I applied for a job. I spent hours on my resume, on my job application. I went for an interview, but in the end, I didn't get the job. Like after all that effort, nothing happened.
Nothing happened.
Yeah.
Okay.
In the end. Yeah. Yeah, maybe in future I can maybe give some more clarification.
Yeah, sure. But I think it makes sense. This makes sense. Okay.
Yeah.
So when we are talking about the result, okay, or maybe about when you are talking about the outcome.
Okay, yeah, that's exactly.
Yeah. So then we can say in the end.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Now, I mean, talking about on. I guess, yeah, on is interesting. I mean, it's often just used in a physical sense, like something is on
the top of something,
on the table, yeah, on the bench, on the sofa. Yeah.
But here I have a question. So when we are talking about a chair, okay, so now I am sitting in a chair or am I sitting on a chair?
Both are okay. Usually you will say on. You might say in a chair more often when the chair is more like has two arms.
Okay.
Yeah. Like the chair is almost around you, kind of.
Yeah. So you're sitting like inside, huh?
Yeah. But usually you say on. Usually, yeah. You might say I'm standing on the balcony, for example. I'm or I have some papers on the floor. Okay, on the floor. Or also a painting, you will say on the wall.
On
there
the
is
wall.
a painting on the wall.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. What else? On a horse, on a bicycle, on a motorbike. Okay.
And for public transportation, okay,
Yep.
so generally I think sometimes we get confused. Okay, so when we are talking about public transportation like train, bus.
For a train or a bus, you will say in, because you are enclosed, you are inside something. Whereas with a bicycle or a motorbike, that's different. You are not inside something, but you're just on the motorbike or on the bicycle.
Okay, but I also think that because we can also use on for public transport, for example, get on. Okay. So
yes.
maybe,
okay. Yep. Get on the bus. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, with that particular expression or phrase, yeah, you would say that. Or get on or get onto, because you're moving. Get onto the bus, onto the train. But after you get on the train,
okay,
then
you're inside.
That's right. You're in the train. Yeah. Yeah. Are there anything else?
Yeah, I have few questions for you.
Yep.
Because I think
Yep.
I don't want to take much of your time.
No problem. No problem.
Okay, so because now you told about this act, right? So, for example, for countries, we can use in, okay, or even
Yes.
for cities and suburbs, we can
Yep.
use in.
Yep.
In Chennai or in
Yep.
Australia or in
Yep.
Dubai.
And also
So
streets.
for the street, right?
Also, yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so when we're talking about a village,
In a village, yeah.
okay, for example, I am in my village, or I am at my village.
In.
In,
Yep.
right? So
In
when
my
we're talking
village.
about a village, it is in a village or in my.
Yes. Yep.
Oh.
Yep.
Okay, and I understand that when we're talking about the address, okay, so the address.
Oh, yep. Yep.
Yeah, I think we use at. For example, my house is at.
Yes. So, for example, it depends if you're. Sometimes it depends if you're giving your full address, or, like, for example, I will give you a fake address, okay?
Yeah.
I live at 25 Smith Street, Quakers Hill, okay? Because I'm giving you like the full address with the number of the house, the street, and the suburb.
Okay.
But yeah, if you're just saying, otherwise you might just say I live in Smith Street, Quakers Hill. It depends if you're giving this the exact address or what. Yeah.
So if you're just giving the street name, then in.
Then in, yeah.
And if it is the full address, then it is at.
At, yes, yeah. Yeah.
And talking about the floors, right? We have the first floor or the second floor, or maybe the ground floor, and even we have the basement. Okay. So I understand that for the first floor and the second floor, I think we had to use on.
Yes, correct.
So my house is on the second floor. Okay. Or my office.
Or my apartment or unit.
Yeah, my apartment. Okay. Yeah, my apartment. Okay. Yeah. So now when we're talking about the ground floor and the basement.
We say on the ground floor, in the basement. Yeah. On the ground floor, in the basement.
In the basement. Okay, good. Yeah. Okay, and I think for the social media, we have to use on, right? We're on Facebook or on Twitter.
Yes.
On YouTube.
Yep, exactly. Yep.
On
that's
WhatsApp.
correct.
Yep. Okay, even for electronic devices, like maybe computer.
Yep, I'm working on my computer. Yep. Or I'm on my phone at the moment.
On my phone.
Yeah.
So now,
Sorry.
Yeah. Okay. So now when we are talking about system, okay, or maybe an application. Okay. For example, if I want to say, so maybe for example, it has been updated. Okay, is it in the system or on the system? So for example, if a person is working in IT, okay, and generally they do some system updates, right? For example, uh, the password has been updated maybe on the system or is it in the system?
We don't usually say that exactly. Like,
Okay.
you'll just say something like I've updated the password or the password has been updated. You
Okay,
won't
yeah, that's
usually, yeah,
mm,
you won't usually say like in the system or something like that.
mm,
Yeah, or I've updated Microsoft Office. Yeah,
mm.
we don't usually need a preposition, I guess. Maybe there are some examples where we do say
So
that.
if it is like an application, if it is an application, okay,
Yeah,
so application.
yeah. So like Microsoft Word, for example, you
Mm,
may.
okay, okay, just okay, take it as an
So
example.
I've installed Microsoft Word. I've updated Microsoft Word. Oh, you might say on my computer.
Okay. Mm,
Yeah, on my computer. I've updated Microsoft Word on my computer.
mm,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, but
So it is not common to
it's
use the
not
word
common.
system.
Not really. I don't think.
Mm,
Yeah.
mm. Okay, yeah, because generally, so when we are talking about an application, okay, or we use the word system. Okay, I don't know about other countries, but I think especially in India, okay,
Okay.
so we quite often so use the word system. So for example, it has been updated. Okay, so is it like in the system? If it is like a computer, then it is better to use on.
So yeah, in
Mm,
Australia, the word system would probably be more used for large scale
mm,
things.
mm,
Maybe at work, there's a big network of computers. There,
mm,
you might say on the system,
mm,
but you wouldn't use it just for everyday, like personal
mm. Okay,
use.
but still we have to use on, right?
Um,
Even if it is like large scale. Okay, so when we
yeah.
use
Um, so okay, give me a sentence. Give me a sentence.
okay, so for example, the changes have been updated. Okay, in this.
Yeah. Yeah. So for that example,
Or
yeah, I
maybe the
would
settings,
agree
maybe
in the
settings.
system.
It is in, or maybe the settings that is, the settings have been updated.
Well, so you might say, yeah, I've updated the settings in Microsoft Word or Microsoft Office, for
Okay, so
example.
it is in.
Yeah. So if you're talking about a particular software application, yeah, you might say.
Mm,
So like if you're trying to tell, maybe you're trying to tell someone that you've updated something and you want to tell them the specific
mm,
application that you've updated.
mm,
Yeah, you might say I've updated the settings in
mm,
in Skype or in
mm,
Microsoft Word or whatever.
okay,
Yeah.
okay. Okay, so when we say Skype, okay, for example, so Skype is, for example, I teach on Skype, right?
Yes. Yeah.
I teach on Skype,
Yes.
okay, or
Yep.
maybe, okay.
Yep.
But when we're talking about some settings or some changes, then it is in Skype.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right. I haven't thought about that before, but yeah, it's interesting.
Okay, so that's fine. Okay. Okay, good. So now social media and then okay, in a meeting and public places. And talking about the office, right? Okay, so I know that for some places that we go on a regular basis, right? School, okay, or maybe university, okay, or it can be office. Okay, we say like at school, okay, or maybe I am
Yeah.
the airport. Okay.
So yeah, but just again, yeah, people just have to be careful that if they're using a verb which means that they are moving, okay, like go or come,
That is
use to. Yeah. It's just that's a many students get very confused with that.
yeah, yeah.
But you know, okay, so in Australia, I don't know, maybe school starts at 9 o'clock and finishes at 3:30 or something. So, you know, someone is at school, it's 10 o'clock, they will say, I'm at school. But if they're catching the bus and they're going to school, they will say, yeah, I'm going to school.
Okay. But here, the difference between office and work, right? So, I am at work. Okay. So, is it like I am in office?
You can say I'm at the office. I'm at the office. Yep.
I'm at the office.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
Or you can also say I'm at work.
Yes, exactly. Yep. I'm at work, at the office. Yep. At school.
Yeah. At school. And talking about the company name. So, for example, if you're talking about the company you work at, or you work for, or you work in.
Yeah. I work for Apple, for example. I work for Microsoft. Yeah.
I think we can also use at, right? I work at Microsoft.
Yeah, that's possible. Yep. I work at Microsoft. Yeah, they're both correct. The meaning is just slightly different. If you say I work for Microsoft, I guess you're giving focus to the fact that this is the company that employs you. I guess I work at Microsoft. I feel like if you say I work at Microsoft, the meaning is similar, but maybe there's a little bit more focus on the place rather than the actual company. Does that make sense? Yeah, I think.
Okay, because yeah, what I heard is because maybe we can use, as you said, we can use either for, okay, or at, but we should never use in.
Yes. Yeah. Definitely.
So it doesn't matter whether you use for or at, but we should never use in.
Yeah. Correct.
Yeah.
Yep.
And talking about the projects, right? Okay, so we use like I'm working on, right? So for example, when a person is working on a project.
Yes. Correct. Yep. I'm working on a project. I'm working on an assignment. Yep.
And when you're talking about a department, so for example, so if you're working is in finance department, or is it like
yes, I'm working in the finance department. In accounting, I'm working in human resources.
Okay. Yep. And even we're talking about the team, right? When you're talking about
a team.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm working in a team. Yep. Okay. Yep. You can also say, yeah, I'm working in a team. I'm working as part of a team. Yeah. Yep.
Okay. Good. Okay, so I think so. These are some of the questions. Okay, I wanted to ask you. Okay, so I hope. Okay, so
yeah, I hope everything I said was correct. That's yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so I think you should be, or you will be correct. Okay.
Yeah.
You are professional, because you are a professional teacher.
Yeah.
Okay, and you have been teaching. Okay, so at an organization. Okay, so thank you so much, Tim, so for your time. So it was
my pleasure.
Nice talking to you, and I hope, okay, we will.
Yes, we will talk again.
Talk again, okay, on a different topic.
Okay,
thank you. Thank you. Have a good weekend. Okay.
You too. Thank you. Bye.
Stay safe. Okay. Okay. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.